Tatiana and
Eugene.
from Ginger, and you're watching Loud TV.
Very loud.
This is Eugene from Ginger, and you are watching Loud TV.
This is Tatiana from Ginger, and you are watching Loud TV.
It's Eugene from Ginger, and you are watching Loud TV. Hello, guys. We are live online with the only one and unique Eugene from Ginger. How you doing?
Hi, Joey. Yeah, I'm fine. Absolutely fine. Thanks for kind words.
Yeah.
I'm personally more humble about myself, the only one and unique. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not sure about this. Yeah, maybe there is another copy of me. Who knows? Yeah, another option. Yeah.
It seems that we can see through the several interviews that we got, especially in Paris, in France. You have changed your hair and the beard, and
years and years passed, and I think it's quite okay for people to change throughout, long years. So it's all right, yeah. But actually, it was quite nostalgic to see all those pieces of interviews just right now, which we did in Paris. When was the first one? 2016 or 17?
Wow, I can't remember. I think it was for something like 5 or 6 years ago. No,
I think 4.
4.
I think 4.
You were playing in a little place in Paris, a little festival or something like this, and I was interviewing Tatiana. I think it was for that album, King of Everything. So
right.
I think 4 years ago. You're right. So if you got questions, guys, to Eugene, so you can directly type your question on Facebook or YouTube, and if you want to ask directly to Eugene, it's possible to be on the camera if you want, no problem. Don't be shy, guys. So first question, because we are here to talk about your first live album, and of course it reminds that Ginger is a great live band, and of course this is your goal as a band.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, during these days when we are all deprived of live shows, live music, it's very important to remember what the goals for a real band are. So it's playing live. So you can be very good at the studio, very good on the record, but what makes you a good musician is just how good you are on stage. How good you can deal with all the pressure, all the stress, and fight your demons and go on stage and play flawlessly in the perfect scenario. Yeah, of course, it's the main goal, and I think for us, and I think it must be the main goal for every band.
And especially for you, that I think you are one of the biggest band to tour. You have played non-stop for 4 years, right?
Longer than 4 years. I think that I mentioned this in the special piece of biography which we included on Alive in Melbourne, and I wrote there that actually we have been touring since 2013 non-stop. We started 7 years ago, and we were forced to stop only when the pandemic started last March. So 7 years.
I think you were in Mexico, right, when you stopped the tour?
Exactly. We played this Hell in Heaven festival on the 15th of March. It was Tatiana's birthday, and that was the last show. I think not only for Ginger, but maybe that was one of the last gigs all over the place, or around the whole world, the 15th of March.
And let's remind that you were one of the driver bus. You told me that in the past. You were driving the bus. Now it's you are more professional, and you have a bus driver, etc. But not so far. You were driving the car with the other guys. It's funny.
Well, actually, that was not long ago. We even
Only
last summer we were touring around Europe doing this summer festival run, and we were driving ourselves our own van. There are 4 drivers in the band: Roman, me, Vlad, and our sound guy Sasha. So we just took shifts and we were driving ourselves. The worst scenario is actually when you play a show and then right after the show you just take a shower, change your clothes, and jump on the van, and it's your shift to drive, and you have to drive for 3-4 hours. If it is overnight drive, to the next city or next festival.
So
Sometimes it is a pain in the ass, but this is what it is. This is what we did for years and years and years.
And by heart the roads, European.
Some roads, yeah, are very, very well known for us. Where I sometimes drive without even having a GPS in front of me, because I just perfectly know that for the other 200 kilometers, I just don't need to take any turns. And then after that gas station, I just need to turn left and I'm almost there.
Okay, before I ask you the silly question, like, are you against with pineapple? Never mind. I think you got the idea of Alive in Australia, right?
Well, I cannot say that it was only my idea, and it came from me only. No, actually, the whole process of taking decision took time, and we changed our plans about that show several times. We were lucky at first. I have to say that we were lucky to have it recorded. It just happened so. It was spontaneous. We decided to record the show during the sound check before the show. Yeah, and it was cool to understand that we have that gig recorded when everything stopped. So the pandemic started, tours were canceled, and I think every single band around the world started looking for content, and we had perfect content. The whole show recorded on video and audio. Yeah, and it took time to work on the video, do this edit cut for the video. And we were first planning to release it as just free stream for fans through Notfest. It didn't happen, and that very day when it didn't happen, I was absolutely devastated, very sad about this. The label Napalm just approached us and offered to release it as a live album. Why not? We of course agreed.
Yeah. Do Australia was a goal when you were younger, because Australia is a exotic place for a European band. No,
I was always hoping, dreaming about going to Australia and playing a tour there, because it is far away. I think it is the furthest. New Zealand, I think, is the furthest place, but it's down under. It's for us Europeans, I think it's just not the same, but very close, like Australia and New Zealand. And we always wanted to go there. Definitely, we understood from the very beginning that it will take time. And finally, we made it happen. We were absolutely, above the moon. Yeah, about this, over the moon, because the whole tour was sold out, and it was great time there, and it was great to see how many fans we have and how supportive they are. Yeah, and we enjoyed every single minute being there. So I just cannot wait for the time when tours are back and we will be able to fly there and play another tour. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the big moment on this concert is when people are singing on on the top chorus. It's one of the highlights of this live album.
They actually sang not only on the top, but the other songs, but for sure on the top and the chorus, because it is quite easy. Actually, I think it is easy for people to sing it. So quite not a complicated melody, and almost everyone can sing along. So definitely it gets the attention when the whole crowd sings it. But the other songs, they also sang it. They also sang it. Maybe not that loud, but they did. But yeah, right you are. I actually rewatched the whole show not long ago, and it got my attention. I somehow, I wasn't watching it for a few months since we finished working on it, and then I rewatched it a couple of weeks ago, and I was even myself, I was impressed. I just thought, whoa, it's actually good.
So maybe we can have questions from guys all over the world. Some like Apolline. What job would you have enjoyed to do if you didn't play in Ginger?
First of all, I have to say that I'm lucky to play in such an awesome band as Ginger, and I honestly cannot imagine myself playing in a different band at the moment, just because I so much enjoy playing in Ginger for all these years. Next year is going to be 10 years I am in this band, and I cannot imagine myself being in a different band and playing different music. So if it's not Ginger, at least now at the moment, there is no other band and no music for me. And secondly, if it's not music, then it's something else, something different. And here, it's very difficult for me, to pick one. There are a few things which I would love to do, but
maybe Taekwondo teacher.
I never did Taekwondo, actually.
Oh, not Taekwondo.
No. I do sports. I do martial arts, and what I do is actually jiu-jitsu and grappling. Yeah. But I never did Taekwondo. I'm bad at kicking, and Taekwondo mostly about kicking. All its jumping kicks, flying kicks, and
why not teacher?
Why not jiu-jitsu teacher? Because I don't think I'm good enough for this. Maybe in some time when I'm, well experienced and better as a grappler, as a jiu-jitsu practitioner, then maybe one day, why not? But at the moment, it's hard for me to imagine myself being on the mats and teaching somebody, even kids. Who knows? Maybe for the future, it can be a good option. Let's pick this one.
Who's your favorite bass player of all time? And maybe Cliff Burton or...
Cliff Burton, I definitely value Cliff Burton and his heritage a lot, but I cannot say that he influenced me so much that I could call him my influencer. Yeah, I know, or something. I played some of Metallica early songs, and I definitely learned Metallica first. I think that the first song I learned on bass actually was For Whom the Bell Tolls. Yeah, but whether it had an impact on me as a player in the future after that, I am very doubtful about this. Cliff did a great job as a solo bass guitarist. His solos were quite impressive, especially for that year, like 1983 or 1984. What he did, during these first years for Metallica, early years, yeah. But me, no. I was more influenced by bassists from technical death scene, and unfortunately, just a couple of days ago, we all got to know about Sean Malone passing, which was quite devastating to know. That was one of the first thing I got to know when I woke up in the morning. I just switched on my phone and I saw that on the social media. I saw that on Steve DiGiorgio's page, and that was a hit. That was a hit, definitely. Yeah, because I always considered Malone as a big influence. I learned his bass lines, even though I do not play fretless, but I learned, his approach to arrangements, how he builds his bass lines in Cynic, and I also implemented this in my bass lines in Ginger. So, like I said, he was a big influence, and his passing is a huge, I think, huge strike for the whole metal scene, progressive metal scene around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I always enjoyed Steve DiGiorgio and his bass lines. And as for the techniques, Ryan Martini from Mudvayne, I think, is the biggest influence on me as a bass guitarist. And also Alex Webster is worth to be mentioned. I remember 10, 11 years ago, I was so much into Cannibal Corpse or Blotted Signs. Even more Blotted Signs. That first album by Blotted Signs definitely blew my mind off. Yeah, so these guys had more influence on me than Cliff, but I think that Cliff is one of those guys like Steve Harris, for example. When you do not really learn directly from them, but they influence generations of players, and you unintentionally you anyway are influenced by them if you play bass guitar in metal.
And Sean Malone was exceptional on the Cynic Focus, which is a really highlight death metal, or it's quite.
They changed the whole thing, the whole game. Focus was such an innovation that actually not many people were ready to understand it and accept it back in 1993. Yeah, my favorite song, Celestial Voyage, from that album, it's something magic. It's magical. It's absolutely magical. That was another step forward. That was a different level of heavy and extreme music. Yeah, before that, there was nobody, nowhere in the whole world who could play extreme music with so much of musicality. Yeah, and those guys definitely, they changed everything. And Sean Malone was part of that, and that's why now, of course, we cannot change anything. We cannot bring people back, but we can at least pay tribute. We can, remember them. And the memory about them is...
And Sean Reinhardt.
Sean Reinhardt too. Yeah, this year is awful for Cynic.
Yeah, and it's all awful for musicians, I think.
Yeah, but things are always relative, if I can say so. We are here, we're alive. We can wait, until pandemics are over and continue our journey and our musical journey. But those guys, they are already gone, and we are only left with the music they already made.
Yeah. So maybe you can translate us a question, because I can't read it.
Oh, that's about Vlad. If he brings his drum kit with him on tour, or just rents it for gigs somewhere. It depends. If we fly overseas just for a couple of shows, like we do in Latin America, for example, when every day we play in a different country, different city, and every day it's a flight from one city to another. It's just impossible to bring your drum kit with you. And of course, you have to play a rented drum kit, and this is what Vlad does. But if we play a long tour inside or around just one country, one territory, like in Europe, around the European Union, or in North America, around the States and Canada, we of course have our own gear, not only the drum kit, but everything, cabinets, amplifiers, just everything. And we already have, a full pack of gear in the States, stored and waiting for us, and we do not need to rent anything there. And we have a full pack of gear here in Europe, waiting for us. So as soon as touring is back, we just grab our stuff and go on tour.
Okay. Question from Davide. Did you had bass lessons or did you learn by yourself? Bass.
Well, I all over, my music career, just over these years, I think I had only 2 lessons. Back in the days, like 10 years, 15 years ago, I had 2 lessons or 3 lessons from well-experienced guys. Yeah, much more experienced than I was 15 years ago, definitely. And they showed me some basics, technical basics, and that's it. I never really had any teachers, any long-lasting lessons. I never went to any schools. I learned everything by myself and developed my own style myself, which I think, I do not say it is bad, but I have to admit that it took much longer time than I would be taking lessons from somebody. But at the same time, it helped me to, build my individuality as a musician, because nobody had the, a real impact on me as a mentor. Yeah, so I just took this from that guy, this from that guy. I already mentioned the names, like Ryan Martini, and what I enjoyed most in their playing, I borrowed and have been using in my playing myself. Yeah, I think if I had a long-lasting teacher, it would be much more difficult for me to develop my own style.
Okay. Do you like to listen non-metal songs?
Of course, a lot. I think that a big part of music I listen to is actually non-metal. Yeah, I've been listening a lot to Mac Miller recently, because my wife listens a lot to him. Yeah, and the other music, like we mentioned, Tatiana and I mentioned in many interviews that we both really love Pink, and I love listening to her. And just, I don't mind light or pop music. It's all right. It just, you don't need to listen to heavy and extreme music all the time, because it just doesn't fit your mood. Yeah, sometimes you feel like listening to something
And
easy.
we can feel it on the Ginger music, it's very diversified, and
It's obvious.
some extreme metal to sometimes raga or stuff like this,
And it's all right. I'm not one of those guys who, are true metalheads and never listen to anything which doesn't have heavy guitars or growling. No, that's not for me. I enjoy diversity in all the aspects of my life, and music is not an exception.
Yeah.
The more diversity there is, the better it is for me.
So as Loic from Loud TV, he said it was today the 19th anniversary of the death of Chuck Children, and we were talking about Cynic. What's your best death album for you?
It's very hard to pick, but I think it's Human. Yeah, because it is just a solid and complete record, and groundbreaking record.
Yeah,
that album marks the transition of Death from classic death metal, which they founded along with the other Florida bands, and their transition to more progressive sound, and the birth of technical and progressive death metal. That is obvious on that album, definitely obvious. And of course, albums like Symbolic or Sound of Perseverance are also great records, and I love listening to them. But I think the only album which I can listen from the very beginning to the very end without having, a bit of discomfort is Human. I can still listen to that album, and I do listen to that album. If I play Symbolic or Sound of Perseverance, there are definitely moments when I just, for various reasons, I just feel a bit uncomfortable about this and that riff, the sound in some songs, sound of the guitar or bass or Chuck's vocals, but Human is flawless.
Okay. Are you, question from Daniel, are you proficient in other instruments or vocals?
Not at all. I do not play anything else. Well, I of course can play a few chords on the guitar just because I understand how to build them, but I do not have a guitar. I've never played the guitar, and as for the other instruments, I never did, and I only play the bass, and that's enough for me. I'm not as talented as Vlad, for example, who is a multi-instrumentalist and can play everything. 4 strings, 5 strings, thick strings, and a long neck is what I need and what I love, and I just don't need anything else.
Question, sir. Serious question. What makes you decide to stop drinking?
I just realized that drinking makes me a bad person. Yeah, in many respects, in many ways. At some point I understood that, well, it just takes me wrong way. It takes me wrong way every time I drink, and it's I'm quite, bad-tempered person in general. It's very hard for me to control myself, and when I drink, it gets even worse. Yeah, and I got sick of myself yelling at other people and getting into arguments, and it was time to stop. On top of this, I just felt bad. I was overweight. I was feeling bad. It was just hard for me to bear this. And I just decided to cut it off from my life completely. And I'm absolutely happy about that. I advise absolutely everyone to, once somebody is just, at least thinks about maybe he or she needs to stop, then it's time to stop. If once you have this idea of stopping drinking for any reason, then it means that you need to stop.
Okay. Which band or artist do you want to record a song with?
Ginger and only Ginger. you see, let's be honest. In the modern world, on the modern scene, music scene, metal scene, if we talk about this precisely, collaborations are only, in the 99% of cases, are made for the purpose of promotion, not for the purpose of creativity, art, not for any artistic purpose, I would say. In 99 cases out of 100, maybe there is one case when it is something really worse from the artistic perspective, but in most of the cases, it is just done to share fan bases, and that's it. Which is a bit of hypocrisy, in my opinion. So then, for us, I don't think there are any collaborations in the nearest future. We are now writing wonderful songs, and we will do something with somebody else, with a vocalist or a guitarist or a keyboardist or even a bass guitarist from the other band. If we write a song and we clearly see that this person, somebody, will perfectly fit and will bring something into this song, then we will, of course, try to reach that person and invite to collaborate. But so far, it has never happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we just never felt like doing this, never.
Okay.
Yeah, and if the other band comes and just gives us something and says that we really hear, let's say, Tatiana in this song, then we will really think about this. We will really think about this. But it's obvious that we had a lot of offers from various bands, from very small bands to quite big bands, very big bands, offers to have Tatiana on their records. But honestly, it is only done because, well, she's a star on the metal scene, and everybody wants, a piece of a cake. But very few of those bands were really thinking about the artistic point of view, about what actually she can bring into the song as a vocalist. Yeah, and as for the other guys, me or Roman, for example, I collaborated with a band from Russia this summer. Yeah, just because I I loved what the guys were doing. Yeah, those two brothers, they uh, just just did a lot of Ginger covers, and they are wonderful guitar players. And I was at the loser, and I just didn't have much to do at that time, and I felt, why not? Yeah, and I love the piece of the song which they sent me, and that's why I took part. Yeah.
I've read and I've seen that you have rehearsed yet, and there are new stuff. So, question from Duck. Hi, Eugene. Can you tell us more about the darker and progressive vibe of the next record, which is, of course, quite exciting?
Well, yeah, the new songs, and for example, just to give you a piece of exclusive information, tomorrow we're gonna finish the pre-production for the fourth song from the upcoming album. So there are like 4 songs which are 100% ready. All the arrangements are written, all the music is done. It's only for Tatiana. They are already sent to Tatiana to work on the lyrics and her vocal lines. So we will have already 4 songs pre-recorded, and we constantly listen to them because I really love what we are having now, what we're making now. This is a new level for us. It's very very exciting because just a year and a half ago we finished Macro, and at that time I was feeling like if we were actually capable of doing something better, and now making these new songs which are better is very motivating. This is what drives me now, because I realize that we are capable of something more. We're doing even better music. Yeah, and like I said in one of the previous interviews, and this is what this is what Doc actually quotes: dark and progressive. It's actually exactly like that. The new songs are darker. They have this melancholic atmosphere, and it is way more progressive in its own way. I cannot say that there is gonna be a lot of notes. It's gonna be very fast songs or something like that. No, it's just different, a bit slightly different approach. There is gonna be a lot of groove, like we always had. So definitely there will be something to headbang with, but like I said, it's a new level for us. It is just to cut it short. The songs are so good that it gives a lot of motivation to work even harder on them.
Would it be an EP or
Album. It's
album?
gonna be an album, yeah.
Because album are pretty, many bands now they release EPs. It's better for.
I heard about that. So it's because in the modern world, it's kind of maybe more profitable to release music sooner
Yeah.
You know, like more frequently, more often, yeah, with short portions. But we're just feeling like making something monumental. And this new record is going to be really monumental piece of work.
Wonderful. Okay, we will finish by hopefully a new tour. We hope so next year. I've read that you would tour with Slipknot.
We're only gonna play one song, one show with Slipknot in Gdańsk in Poland. This is what we have just announced. Maybe if things work well, we will have a chance to tour with them more, like playing the whole tour together. But so far, talking about things which have been announced, it's only one show in Gdańsk.
Okay, so next year we hope to see you again live because
everybody hopes just to see something live. You know, everybody is, I think, quite tired of streams. Everybody is quite tired of just sitting home, going nowhere, and having no chance to listen to live music. But yeah, there is only one thing left: just wait and hope. There is nothing else. Yeah, and we just need some time. Everybody needs some time.
Yeah. Thank you again, Eugene.
Always welcome, Joe. Yeah, it's a big pleasure for me. Big pleasure.
This is a pleasure for us all too. So see you maybe next year. And of course, if you guys like this interview, you can share it on YouTube and Facebook. And thank you, Eugene, for sharing also this interview on the social networks. Thank you again.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Have a good holiday.
Yeah. You too,
See you next year.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.